Hi, my name is Tyler Campbell, and I am here today to discuss the three ways of having a small business. The first way is franchising. This is when a franchisor, which is the larger parent company, uh, has an agreement that binds the franchisee, which is the small business that pays to have local distribution of their products with the franchisor. Um, there are clearly advantages and disadvantages to this. Some of the advantages include just like the prospects of being able to grow. Uh, Being a small business, you don't really have the exposure that you do when you get a franchisor to deal with you. You have more money. You have some financial assistance. You have some professional assistance as well. Typically, franchisors are available on a daily basis that are willing to help these franchisee companies with their daily activities. Um, you have the prospect to grow as well. You see how efficient these bigger companies work, and how what their standards are. So you see everything that it takes in order to be those bigger companies. So you ultimately, by the end of it, have a great chance at growing and becoming that company that you want to be. Of course, with disadvantages, you don't really have quite the freedom that you would if you started the business from scratch, because you're going to be stuck to a certain territory, because that's how the agreements typically work. Um, you're going to be financially dependent as well, because of that contract, and because of the franchisors are definitely going to have a fee or a percentage that they want out of the revenue that you're making. So you're going to be pretty dependent of these franchisor companies. You're going to have a great chance at learning from them and build and growing, but you're going to be pretty dependent of them as well. The second way is basically taking over an established business already. That could be a family inherited business, buying out an established business, or taking over a franchisee business. With this also comes plenty of advantages and disadvantages as well. Some of the advantages is you're not going to deal with all the beginning hardships, because it's already going to be an established business, so you're not going to deal with starting up the business per se. You're probably going to have some type of customer base, so you're not going to be worried about finding that first base, that group that you're targeting quite yet. You're actually going to be able to plan a little bit, because you're going to have certain data and tendencies that the customers already have. You're not going to have to try to project certain things, because you're already going to have some type of data based on how the company already did. You're also going to have inventory, equipment, and managers probably already in place, instead of having to go worry about going and hiring a good manager and spending money on inventory and equipment. You should already have that in there, since it's already going to be in a company. When it comes to disadvantages, if the business has a negative image, it's going to be hard to right the ship, depending on how negative that image may be. Some existing employees might just not be good. They might not meet your standards, and those are they're gonna have to be let go, and that's gonna be tough, especially if they worked there for quite a long time. The previous owner might have a completely different image than you as well, so you have to deal with that. That's gonna be another thing that you have to right the ship in a sense. Certain things might be outdated. Your equipment might be outdated. The way the companies operate might be outdated. The inventory might be outdated. So that's another thing. If you want to get with the times, and that previous company wasn't quite with the times, that's another thing that you have to adjust to. And you might have liability depending on what contracts the previous owner got yourselves into. So those are just things to keep in mind. The last way is just starting up the business completely from scratch by yourself. And of course, there's advantages and disadvantages as well. Of course, advantages, you have freedom, right? You are going about this your way. You will not have a bigger company telling you what to do, and you will not have any type of previous background. So everything's going to be on you. You could create your competitive advantage how you want to have an advantage over the other companies. That's how you can control that. You can create that. You're going to be in charge of your image as well. There's nothing prior that will determine anything. When it comes to disadvantages, there's a higher chance of failure because it's you, and you won't have a bigger company, and you won't have a company that's already established. It's going to be completely new, and it's going to be up to you. So financially, that could be tough as well, and you have a chance of failing. But it will be yours, and you have a chance at running a business the way you want to, creating a business that you want to, and if you succeed, that's going to be a great feeling. So if it was up to me between these three options, if I had to pick how I would go about this, how I would have a small business, I would definitely go with option number 2, taking over or buying out an already established business. I like the idea of starting completely from scratch, option number 3, but I would go option number 2 just because of having certain things already in place and not going completely from scratch. I like the idea of having some type of inventory and equipment, even managers and employees involved, and a base customer group. If there's a negative image, of course, it's going to be something that's going to be tough to overcome. But I would hope that I would pick a business that doesn't have that type of image so that I could just get started right away and just modernize and improve what was already in place. Just grow even more. But know that I have a base group that I could work with. Starting completely from scratch, the idea of the chance of failure doesn't scare me, but it's not ideal compared to having a business that already has proven itself in one way, shape, or form, and just modernizing and adjusting things to me sounds better than going completely new. That's just a personal take for me, but I would definitely go with option number 2, taking over an established business already. For me, I just feel like I had the best chance at growing the company even more while being successful, and probably not taking as too long to reach some of the goals that I would have in place for myself. Anyways, thank you guys for your time.